So we're going left, but it's still on this lane. I don't know what it is trying to do here. Wow. Wow, wow. Is it trying to park? Let's see. Oh my God. This isn't a parking spot. Tesla just pushed the new FSD update V14.2.2.6 to my Model Y performance here in the Netherlands. And so today we're going to be taking a point A to point B drive here in the city of Almere. We're going to see how this new update handles local roundabouts, bicycle paths, strict European regulations, and see if it can clear the unique hurdles of driving in Europe. Let's drive. As usual, all you need to do to start FSD is put on your seatbelt, put in a destination in the navigation, and tap the Start FSD button. Now this is actually important. Notice how nothing is happening here. This isn't a software bug. I actually thought it was before I found out that the reason it is doing this is because of strict European regulations, specifically the UNECE rules, which prevents the car from pulling out autonomously in certain situations till the driver puts in additional input. So for example here, if I maybe use my turn signal, there you go. That signals to the car that okay, it is okay to go. So that isn't a bug. In case you encounter that, it is totally normal. It is a European regulation. Feels like it's going to struggle a bit here because we're somewhat close to the car in front. Oh, okay. So that's that is strange. It just pretty much stopped, and I think because it couldn't go out. So what I'll do here is manually pull out. And then once I'm out, I'll just re-engage FSD. Okay. So now that I'm out, all I need to do is use the right scroll wheel button by pressing it, and FSD is in control. So yeah, that can happen sometimes if you're in a very tight spot, but also sometimes it would just require you to give it a go ahead, which you can simply just do by tapping your turn signal. So that part isn't a bug, it is a European rule. It hesitated a bit there because of the cyclist, but once you notice that they have stopped, then it just continued moving. Again, that's what you'd expect from a good human driver. Slowing down for these guys, which is good. Even though it has right of way, it noticed that the cyclists were already sort of in the road, and so it just slowed down for them. Let's see what it does here. This is okay, good. So usually it likes to go around the roundabout, and sometimes it confuses the people coming out of that road because then they think it is trying to go right. But that is actually the right way to go around that sort of roundabout that is there, but most times people just go over it. And so every time FSD is trying to go around it, I notice that people confuse it for going right, but thankfully that person waited. Now we're approaching a roundabout, and once I looked into the details of how FSD behaves around the roundabout, because we have quite a number of them here in Europe, it became very impressive to me, because once you understand how it works. So right now, this is one part where the car uses a precise division of labor between its cameras. So when you approach a roundabout, it relies on the front windshield camera to identify the layout, which also signals to the car to slow down. Once you're in the curve, right before you exit, it relies on the side repeater cameras facing backwards, and it uses that to scan for example, for cyclists coming, because usually if there's a bicycle lane around the roundabout, and we have some of them like that, like this one, which has a bicycle path around the roundabout, it uses the side repeater cameras to also scan for cyclists coming that way. And usually when a cyclist is on the bike path, it would slow down because they have right of way. It would stop rather for the cyclist to pass before it continues. This is another roundabout, by the way. So we have quite a number of them, and it is very impressive rather how it handles the roundabouts quite well. So yeah, kudos to the AI system on that one. And of course, this is another roundabout. You see those shark teeth in front? That means that you do not have right of way when you're on that lane. And obviously FSD already knows that. So it wouldn't even enter the roundabout when there's another car inside of the roundabout already. Yet another one. One other thing that FSD does, and I covered this in my previous video, which I'll link right here so you can go watch that if you've not seen it before, is how it maintains its speed on the different road that it is on. So here, for instance, we're on a 50 kilometers per hour road, and FSD has identified that, and this is how you know what speed limits FSD is using. Rather, what speed limit it has identified for the road that it is on. For you to know how far FSD would go, there's a small max speed limit here, and what the way FSD sets that is by using the speed limit of whatever road it's on. So on this road now, it is set to 50, and right here it says 50 max, and so you know that FSD is not going to go above 50. But there are two ways you can override that, and I covered that in my previous video, which you should totally check. But one way you can override that is by pressing your foot on the accelerator. So if you want to go past the speed limit that is here, all you need to do is press your foot on the accelerator, and FSD would go fast as long as your foot is on the accelerator. But note that once you do that, FSD is no longer going to brake for you. So use that with caution. That's one way. And the other way is to override this max speed limit that is here. I'll try to zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about, because I'm sure it's not very visible from this distance. And the way to do that is by using the right scroll wheel button. So this is how you, by scrolling up, you're increasing the limit. So this is the safer option to use, because when you do that, you are effectively telling FSD that you can go this far, but it will only go that far if the road conditions allow it. So if the road is free, then it can increase the speed. Otherwise, it would maintain the speed limit that is set. And I'll demo that on this new road that we're about to enter, because that's an 80 kilometers per hour road. And so I'll show you just how these two ways to override the maximum speed limit work. So we're going left, but it's still on this lane. I don't know what it is trying to do here. Wow. Wow. This is a bit of a problem. Oopsie. Wow. FSD totally did something weird there. Yeah. So we were on the wrong lane. We were supposed to be on the left two lanes. Those were the lanes that are allowed to turn into this road. And the traffic for that lane was red. The traffic light for that lane was red. So what it did instead, it stayed on the lane that was going straight, and then right at the intersection it turned left. That was a traffic violation. And Tesla, if you're seeing this, then take note. That was a traffic violation. Oh, that's the first time that's happening, and I'm glad I caught that on camera. Yeah, that caught me by surprise. And then right at when he came out of that road, notice how it hesitated, how it wasn't sure where to go, but it eventually just made the left turn onto this road. That wasn't good. Anyway, so back to the speed limit changes. Right now, this is an 80 kilometers per hour road, and you see that it's already going at the max speed limit it can go. If I wanted to override that, all I need to do is press my foot on the accelerator, and right here you see that it's already increasing. But when you do this, it wouldn't brake for you again, and it would actually warn you, like you can see here. It would still steer, but it would not brake for you. So use that with caution, and only use that as a temporary override. The more natural way to do it, or the safer way to do it, is by increasing the max speed limit FSD can go. So if I take this up all the way to 92, for example, it means I've told FSD that it can go up to 92, but it will only go above 80 kilometers per hour if the road conditions allow it. Like if it says that the road is clear enough for it to go. So right now we went up to 81, but it's slowing down again because it knows that we're about to turn. If my foot was on the accelerator instead, it would just continue moving. It just continue moving fast and to not even brake, which means it would cross a red light or even run into or go hit whatever is in front of it. Back to that traffic violation, I don't know why it did that. Probably because it did not make the switch to the left lane early enough, because that's never happened, and I don't know if it is something with this new update. But that's strange. Again, another roundabout. And again, just to point, I'm going back to that. This is why it is also called FSD Supervised, because sometimes you might do something weird like that. So always be at alert and be ready to take over if you notice that it's doing something really weird and it is not safe. I left it to do its thing because I was looking around and it was okay to do that. It was okay to let it figure itself out because I didn't notice any danger around. But always be at alert. And so here again, if I wanted to go a bit faster because it's sticking to the speed limit, which is 50, and I see a couple of cars already coming up behind me, I'll just press my foot on the accelerator. Obviously it tells me that it will not brake for me, but I know that once I'm approaching my next turn, I can take my leg off and FSD will take back control of the speed. So again, that's what I just did there, and FSD is in control again. Okay, so we're close to our destination. Another thing I'm curious to see is how this new update handles parking. I've come to this place a couple of times and the previous version hasn't handled parking quite well. Yeah, I noticed that if the parking lanes are not very visible, or if the lines dividing the parking lanes are not continuous, FSD sometimes gets confused. So let's see how it behaves, how this new update behaves. I don't know if anything has been done around that, but I'm curious to see how that behaves. And that's another thing with FSD. Another good thing is that it will literally take you from point A to point B without you needing to do anything. So shift you from park position and put you back in a park position when you get to your destination. So these are parking spots, but it doesn't seem like it has chosen anyone. And this is exactly how we behave sometimes. Now it looks like we're going around again. Or is it trying to park? Let's see. Oh my god. This is another flop. It just parked me right in the middle of the road. This isn't a parking spot. Something is wrong. Yeah. Usually it would just struggle to park. It would go around a couple of times, and then sometimes it would eventually choose a parking spot, but not park fully in. To maybe just park halfway. But this one is worse. It literally just parks me in the middle of the road. So I'm just going to manually take over and look for a parking spot to park. So we're back to the spots where, or the area where it totally missed its parking spot. And I think because, like I said, the lines are not continuous, so you see that there's just one, almost like a point here and here. And I feel like that's why, that's what I think. I think that's why it doesn't recognize this as parking spots. So that was an interesting drive. Overall, this drive just proves that the tech is quite impressive, but it is not perfect, and that's fine. Actually, seeing how this gets improved on is something that I find thrilling, and I believe fellow tech enthusiasts will feel the same way. So yeah, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. I'll be doing a lot more FSD videos here on the channel, so you do not want to miss that. And if you liked this video, please leave a like. And also comment, let me know what you guys think and if you've experienced anything similar to what I experienced today. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.